In the new mega competitive world of budget golf clubs, there is a name on the market that you may not have heard of. And in the world of hollow bodied golf clubs, of the P790, the new Titleist T250, and lots of fantastic options, these might well save you a fortune and perform just as good. So, what are these golf clubs? So these are the brand new Jubilee range of irons from the guys at H down under. Bob, what do you think about the H?
Crikey.
Crikey. Now these represent fantastic value. We're going to test them today out here on the golf course and of course in the studio and just see how good they can potentially be. I was a big fan of the Burley series of these clubs. We had the blade, we had the cavity back, and now we have this lovely hollow bodied option for you guys. They're running about kind of half the price of your kind of bigger names such as your Titleist and your TaylorMade, as you can see here. Funny enough, we are going to compare these irons today as well, so if you want to see that, make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss it. Interestingly, these are both 31.5 degrees in loft for, no, 30.5 degrees in loft for the 7-iron. What loft do you think this 7-iron is? Bearing in mind it's a hollow bodied and it does look kind of nice, big and forgiving. It's 33 degrees, so these aren't exactly power spec, which I think is nice and kind of refreshing for an iron like this. So without any further ado, Bob, let's get some balls out. Okay, so let's see exactly what we do have into, in fact, let's just get the GPS up, Bob, why not? Par 3, 147, play-in 150, so should be a nice 8-iron number for us. Really intrigued to see how these feel because the strap line for these on the H website, if you want to see the H website, guys, I will link it below, but generally it is a forgiving players feeling iron. So they're kind of saying they're going to cover all the bases, which I do like the idea of. I had a ladybird on the ball then, just saved it. Oh, that he's in divot range there, isn't he? Come on. Come on. On here. Right. What? Oh, I've saved it. So when we first look at these clubs, the one thing I'll say is, I don't think they're as attractive as the Blades or the CBs, but that's totally up to whatever people want to look of. There's a nice thick top line, there's plenty of offset. How premium do they feel? A little bit out to the right, that one. Straight away though, a really nice soft feeling club. And the interesting thing for me here is how much money would you guys want to spend on a brand new set of irons? Because we do have premium components in here. We do have a nice premium NS Pro motor shaft, which is always nice. Better. Just towards the left-hand side of the green that time. That should kick on and be a nice shot. And I must say, one of the things I quite like about the appearance of these is that kind of double white bottom groove there. It does help, I find, with alignment a little bit. And we actually have more of a kind of curved leading edge here, so that is going to help a little bit with turf interaction potentially, and a lovely kind of wide sole on this 8-iron here. Right, we've not attacked the flag yet though. These are all about forgiveness. Better. That's better. Let's get up there and see where they've finished, and let's talk numbers for this H Jubilee 8-iron. So one of the things that I've quite enjoyed about those shots is just how the front to back dispersions are very, very similar. You can see we've hit the green twice, we missed the green with the first one, but it is down near the buggy, and you can see that ball stopped pretty quickly as well with that second effort. So for a hollow bodied iron that's designed to be a bit more powerful and a bit more forgiving, I'm going to take that as a 5 feet. Shall I lie down? No, not lie down. But about kind of 5 feet stop, which I think is really a nice effort for a club of this design. Okay, so just how far do these H Jubilee irons actually go? How much spin can we generate and what kind of ball speed are we going to see with these hollow bodied, fairly big forgiving progressive irons? If we talk 7-iron, I usually think around 165. This, it isn't power lofted, it's plenty of loft on this to help get the ball airborne, which is a little bit of a master stroke from the guys at H. A progressive offset? Offset? Anyway, offset. 5.5 spin, what's that going to carry? Still in there at 150 odd, it's a 162, so if these were power lofted, I think they'd go a very, very long way, but I think you'd struggle to launch them. I think they've actually done a really nice idea here by having that big wide sole, having obviously that hollow body, 5,500 spin, and it's not too much of a beast. I feel like when we're out on the course playing with these, it's not going to catch me out too much. That's gone 175, so maybe I'm eating my own words there because that's gone a long way, but it was a really nice struck shot. Spins dropped at 4.8, so that's one of the things where if you were going to go and spend £1,000 more on a set of irons, such as a set of P790s or a Ping i530, I think it would be, or a Cobra Forge Tech, yes, you might get a bit more consistency there, but then how consistent are you at swinging the golf club? And how consistent are you at striking shots? Like you can see, I've been fairly inconsistent now. I've hit two really good ones there, and that one's gone that 170 number again. So front to back dispersion is always going to be a thing with a hollow bodied set of irons, especially a hollow bodied set of irons that is kind of a bit more on the budget orientation, but certainly having these premium shafts helps with it. If I can just bottle that, we're definitely shooting under par. Definitely. Right, so we have 115 yards into this par 4, and you may think that 115 yards, well, surely the pitching wedge would go further than that, and yes, I believe it will, and when we test it for numbers, I'd imagine it'll be that kind of 125, 135 gap. But if I'm buying these clubs, I want to know that I can still play that little kind of knock down 100-yard shot. Now, it is playing quite bouncy here today, so we're going to have to play this. They do look, I think that, you know, that 1 second wow of buying them, and I've said this before on like Callaway videos and stuff, I think you do look at them and go, oh, wow, look at them. And I think also when you turn them around like this, you go, you know what, that's going to be quite forgiving, isn't it? That is a really, really wide sole on there, but that is obviously going to help you with that forgiveness level that H discussed. So it is quite firm and bouncy, but if we land it on the green, it will stop. So we're going to try and land these around 110. Will it be too difficult to do that? Will they just want to fly that little bit? We'll not play out of a divot because that wouldn't make sense. Bob, bring it in. What do you reckon to look of this? Is it one of the larger pitching wedges? But I don't think that makes it a bad looking one. I think it just looks quite forgiving, to be fair, almost like a Callaway AI 300 or Titleist T350, something along those lines, much more forgiving. Right, so a little sawn off one. That's skinny. What's that going to pitch like? Now I think that wasn't, I don't think it wasn't a good strike, I know it wasn't a very good strike, but I think that's gone the perfect distance again. And I think that's what really capitulates. That's not a word, is it?
I think it is a word, I don't think it's the right word.
That's what I'm gathering from this test. We are getting the right numbers, aren't we? No matter how I strike it. I don't know what word I was thinking of then. Anyway, let's just try and hit a good one, James. You can find the word and edit that in, Bob. That was better. That was better, and we got that feel there as well. I think that's going to be really close. That feel of the hollow body design. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't feel like a soft forged head, and it does have forged elements in this to make it feel that little bit softer, but I do feel like it certainly feels like a game improvement club. Again, that's subjective to so many different golfers around the world, and again, it totally depends on what you want out of your clubs, but I don't think necessarily it's a positive or a negative. It's just one of those things that it feels like. Can we hit another good one with this wedge? It almost sounds like a wood, doesn't it? You think it sounded a bit... And I think that's pitched and stopped nicely as well. So to say we're off this firm turf, I'm quite happy with that. Let's jump inside. Let's see just how this pitching wedge can cope with a full shot and some half shots. And let's see how that stopped on the greens. Because if this can work, I said earlier, this could be make or break. Could you see yourself parting with that kind of 500, 550 pounds for a brand new set of irons? So we'll go pitching wedge first. We're just going to hit a couple of shots. Obviously quite a big head here, and the swing weight does match that. Straight away you can see how easy that is to launch. Now, just because these are bigger and hollow bodied doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go much further than a standard set of irons. You can see 7,400 spin, so it's not too low. It could be a lot lower and a lot less controlled, but it's not. Now, I think if I flight it down, that will go a little bit further. So we've dropped the spin down there at 6.4. That's going to carry more like 130, which is my pitching wedge number really, 132. Releasing out to 140, so plenty of release out there. We're not hitting into a green here. This is just a driving range fairway. But so far, I think it does look a little bit big, but the person who's going to be looking at buying this really does want that nice big forgiving iron. That was almost off the grooves, by the way. I've hit that out the shiny bit of the toe. It's gone 120 total. So that's not too bad at all. 7,000 spins still. How far can it go if you really put it back in the stance and try and hit it? 8.5 spin that time, so loads of control. Obviously more club head speed, more ball speed. It's that 130 carry again. So I don't feel like with this pitching wedge, it's necessarily ballooning up into the air. I don't feel like you're losing control over it. I can still play that low shot if I want to. And forgiveness-wise, if we've tested by missing the grooves, it's not done bad at all, especially when you put that price tag to it. That felt really good as well. Almost feels a bit more metallic-y, if that makes sense. 120 releasing out to 130 that time. So you're always going to have that element of front to back dispersion with a hollow bodied club like this, especially of this size. But it feels a bit more like, it feels more like the 11 hybrid than a forged pitching wedge, which there's a forged element to it, but it's really not the end of the world at all. Now I have to say, for a budget forgiving hollow bodied pitching wedge for half a shot to perform this well, I'm absolutely in awe of these clubs, and that is the right word, Bob, isn't it? I think they've done exceptionally well there, and it's allowing me to play the shot that I want to play. So guys, you can see it, even the bad one we hit, we're on the green just, but we've got a birdie putt. So we've got one we'd probably fancy, one we'd make 20-30% of the time, and one that you might make from downtown. So one of the areas I think H have done incredibly well with this set, and with all the sets that they do offer, is that bag appeal. I feel like the whole bag appeal does look fantastic, and even if maybe they're not the best looking irons down at the ball, in my opinion, for an iron I would like, in the bag I think they look lovely, they look shiny, they look more expensive than they are, which I think a lot of people would really like the ideology of, as opposed to something that looks cheap and tacky in the bag. So how does the 4-iron work on the golf course? Because I think a lot of people potentially might even just go 5-iron and have a hybrid in the set, but if the 4-iron's nice and forgiving, which it looks like it should be, then maybe you could have a 4-iron in the set and have a full 4 to wedge set. Look at the size of that sole. I think you look at this, and there's so many companies now that are D2C. There's Takomo, there's Callaway, there's Kirkland, I suppose, there's Sticks. Lots of very, very good options for people who want that kind of nice looking performing club for that second-hand budget. And that, I think, is one of the big comparisons we need to look at. What can you get in the second-hand market for around the price of a set of these? Because if there's not a lot, then would you go and get something brand new like this with its nice premium components? And right, we're going to aim for the post in the middle of the fairway. Not too much offset on here, which I do like the idea of. Wow, that's going to knock the post out of the ground. That was really nice. I really enjoyed that. And the interesting factor here is I've hit that a little bit toey. I've cut across it, you can see where the T mark is there, and it didn't feel toey. Now, a lot of people might say, well, I want to know where I've hit the ball out of, I want that feedback so I can improve. But I think if that's you, then you probably want the cavity back, you want the Burley series. I think if you want all-round forgiveness, I don't want to know where I've hit it out of the face, I just want it to do that, then this could be the club for you. Let's go off the deck this time. I teed that one up. Let's see if we get that same kind of launch. It's a carbon copy. It's exactly the same. And again, I can see with the stripe mark that was a little bit toey, but it hasn't turned too much on me. That's just running past that stake that we have aimed at. And again, it's done really, really nicely. I'm really looking forward to showing you the numbers for these, because I know a lot of you guys do like to see what kind of ball speed, spin rate and distance you can get with them. But for me, I think so far out on the golf course, I didn't hit 3 of my best shots with the 8-iron, and they did pretty well. I feel like I've made 2 okay golf swings with the 4-irons, and you can see that the consistency factor is the big thing for me here. Quite often, if you look at a hollow-bodied club, and this might happen inside, we'll jump inside in a moment and test them for numbers, but you can have that lack of consistency. An iron could be fantastic 6 or 7 shots out of 10, and the other 3 might be rubbish or unbelievably good. So we want to have that really tight-knit dispersion, both left to right and front to back. Right, what about a low one, Bob? Just a little, can we play a little low stinger? Now, what I'll be really interested to see is when we get up there, have they all gone the same distance? Because you've seen there 2 totally different ball flights within the 3 shots. And I didn't think I'd be able to do that with this club. I thought it would just want to launch up in the air. But I wish you were mic'd up, because Bobby went, ooh. And it takes a lot to impress Bob. He's mean. So, interestingly, I think we're in a really good position at the moment with the D2C brands. I mentioned Takomo, I mentioned Callaway, I mentioned Sticks, even Kirkland to some kind of example. And I really like how it's making golf more accessible for people. A lot of people do like to do a lot of purchasing online nowadays, and the D2C model, I think, works really, really well. When it comes to front-to-back dispersions, as I mentioned, literally they're all within 10 yards of each other, which I think for the different flighted shots that I hit, again, really, really happy with that. Very nice levels of forgiveness, but also those nice levels of consistency as well. Okay, so into the 5-iron of this set. So I've gone 5-irons. I think a lot of people using this set maybe wouldn't go 4-iron, they just have a hybrid. So I think anything around that 200 mark is a nice effort. I literally can't strike a 5-iron better than that. That's pitching in the middle of the 0, I think, of the 200. That's pitch 191, releasing out to, can you call that just left? I'm not 100% sure, but 4,700 spin. Good ball speed, good carry distance. Felt pretty good. Oh, that wasn't a good hit. It stayed nice and straight. What's that going to carry? It's down, but it's down 175 releasing. It's down 20 yards. I duffed that, to be fair. We'll not look at the spin because off the mat it's always going to give us a bit of a dodgy number. I think the longer irons look better than the short irons actually. It's more like a driving iron this. And you can see I can start to launch that a little bit lower. I've pulled that a bit. So spin's dropped to 3.3. I think here, you look at a club like this and you think this has to be the ultimate forgiving club. Where realistically, a golf club can only be so forgiving anyway, can't it? And if you put, face it, a pretty dreadful swing on something, you look at the difference in that ball flight to the previous one that's 10 yards higher in peak height, no club's really going to help with that. And there you go, there's the good swing again. So if you put a good golf swing on these clubs, that's identical almost to the first shot we hit. It's finished on the 2 again. They're going to perform for you. If you put an okay swing on these clubs, they're going to perform for you. If you put a terrible golf swing on these clubs, nothing's going to perform for you. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I've launched that one up in the air, haven't I? Beautiful.